I feel like everything going on in my life right now is challenging who I am, who I want to be, and what I want to do with my life. Um, Before I get started, for the record, I'm not going off any script for this video. I'm filming it outside. It's like 90 degrees and humid at like 1 a.m. in the morning, and I got my Waterloo, so I will stay hydrated through this video. But what I mean by this is every experience, every person I encounter, you know, every relationship that I've had or cut off or built up in like the last year, my freshman year of college, has challenged the way I think about the world, and more importantly, challenged who I am as a person. And what I mean by that is, you know, I'm meeting so many new people and I'm seeing so many qualities in them that I feel I have myself. Like I'm meeting people who are very similar to who I am and who I was in high school, and I'm realizing how they have so many similar qualities to me, and so many of those qualities I just dislike. Like I find so irritating. I mean, I can get into what those qualities are, but it makes me stop and think: do I really want to be this way? Like I want to kind of change. So I guess as an example, in high school, I was I was sixth in my class, probably one of, if not to glaze myself, one of, if not the smartest students in my class out of, you know, 217 students. Um, you know, I took the hardest classes, got the best grades. Did debate and had a job and did many other extracurriculars and whatnot. I got into an elite university, not Ivy League, but people name this school in the same light as the Ivy League colleges, and even beyond that, within this school, I'm in the elite biology program for students who specifically want to go into research, and this has the best biology students, not just in the country, in the world. Those students in this class, like five of them or so, are just from China, a couple are from South Korea, Switzerland, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Serbia, every country, the whole lot of them. There's kids from those countries in this class, the best biology students in the world. And then there's just me from a medium sized city in the Midwest. I went to an urban public high school, and just by being at this elite university, I would have been at that school one of the smartest people. I mean, people knew me as oh yeah, that one really smart kid who tried super hard in school. That was my identity. And I go to this school and I meet everybody else who's like that, and it's just it cancels out. It's not part of my identity. I know this isn't super you know this is pretty unique and not something that a lot of people can relate to. But I feel like what they can relate to is going off to college or getting older, and, meeting people that are so much like you, but that you realize that you just don't like, or maybe deep down you don't realize that they're so alike to you, but that's why you hate them. And there was actually this kid in my high school who was kind of like that. Um, for the record, I wasn't a complete nerd. I would still hang out with my friends. I was a work hard, play hard kind of guy. I would work super hard, sometimes even on pointless things. I did IB, which is sort of like AP, and I'd already done all my qualifications for graduating. I was already in this elite university, um, and it wasn't like these test scores were going to give me any credit because IB doesn't get credit in the United States. But I still study my ass off second semester, senior year, to get a really good score on these tests, and I did. I got a far higher score than what was required to get the full IB diploma. Um, I probably got the highest in the class, although that wasn't disclosed. Might have even gotten the highest in the last couple of years. I got a crazy high score for nothing. I spent all that work on school and doing all that shit. Studying way harder than everyone else, locking in when everyone else was having fun, and it got me nowhere. Like nowhere that I wouldn't have been if I worked really hard up until that semester. Worked as hard as I did maybe to get into this college and school and whatnot. But why did I have to care so much about these tests? I didn't have a little bit of balance. I always work hard, play hard. So I would during sometimes on the weekends with my friends. If I managed to get invited to a party, I would go to it. Like I still had fun, but I was like, like I needed to perfect everything. My college application, like I perfected that. I spent way too long, like hours upon hours reviewing and reviewing and getting so many pairs of eyes to review my personal essay for college applications, which is only 500 words. That I really need to spend all that much time on it. Again, like it got me into a good school, but I can't like. I'm sure if I spent a couple less hours, maybe it's a little less good in quality, but it's not like too much changes, right? And like I had to get all the best grades and all the best classes. Maybe there was some point I stopped caring, but it all feels like kind of a scam. Maybe a scam's not the right word, but you get what I mean. And there was this other kid. He wasn't that smart, but he tried really hard in school. He didn't even play hard on the weekend the way I would. Like, his Saturday nights are probably spending time with his family and then studying in the evening. But he wanted to have that same identity as like the smart kid. Everybody thinks this person is smart. So like this dude would like I remember a time sophomore year, he's given like a presentation in history and his group takes over the presentation. So he just goes off to the side and in front of the whole class, I kid you not, starts doing a trigonometry problem while the rest of his group is presenting something about like, you know, women's rights in the 1920s in history, bro. Like why is he doing this other than to show, hey guys, I know how to do trigonometry to the rest of the class? And in math class, he would do all his like calculus problems on the board in front of the whole class. Some kids jokingly made like art of like Homer, like it was like like troll art almost. Like it was meant to look kind of so dumb that like it's funny. And he started like erasing their art to do his own to show everybody, hey, I'm really good at art. Like we get it, bro. But like I realized that's kind of like I hate him for that, but kind of because I do the same thing. Like sometimes I would like not know something in my class and I would raise my hand like, I know this and I know this and I know this. I'm just confused about this because I'm so self-conscious and like cares so much about how people see me as a person. Like I want people to think I'm the smart kid in the school. I want that to be my identity. And so like even if it's like something like pretty niche that I'm confused about, and it's a simple question, I'll like have like three whole sentences saying, I know this and I know this. I'm just confused about this. But I want people to know, I'm confused about, something really like, you know, advanced and that I know all the basics and they don't and that I'm like the smart kid and whatever. I hope this isn't cutting out. Yeah, I don't know why. The recording, like, and I meet this kid and like I just hate him. But it's even worse when I get to college because it's not just one other kid. There's like hundreds of the others and like I realize it's no longer like part of my identity. But also like I go to a school where it's like so difficult to have the same grades and to keep up the same standards that I realize maybe I need a little bit of balance in my life. And there's these kids in my biology class, like spent like 15 hours a week perfecting this PSAT, bro. Because the thought of having a minus right after the A on their transcript gives them a heart attack. They just can't even stand the thought of that. They need to have straight A's, straight A pluses, or whatever. And like I realize like it's so much work. Like you know, we really do get along. Like it's really difficult work in college. Like even after IB, especially at this school that I go to, and like I just can't keep up. Like those same standards that I had in high school, I can't get all A's. That would require me to do all the P sets. Beyond all the P sets, do a lot of updating my notes in my notebook. I went to like a couple tests, not even had notes on all the lessons. I would need to like fill my notes by looking back at the slideshows and the textbooks and whatever. And then I would want to study if I could get all that stuff done in a week. And then I would want to read over the textbook if I could get all that stuff done in a week. But there's just not the time, nor is the energy. And I realize like I also want to have a little bit of fun, and enjoy my life while I'm still young. And like I'm seeing all these people who like remind me of who I previously was, and it just like challenges me. Like I don't want to be that way. Like, but then you think, oh, are they getting ahead of life in life? Like they're getting ahead of me in life. Like they're keeping these really good grades. They'll get, everyone's gotten involved in that class. Everyone got involved this summer with research underneath a professor through like this like grant program. I'm like the only one in that class who like spent my summer chilling at home doing jack shit, DoorDash driving to make a little bit of money, and watching the World Cup and playing video games. Like everyone else is like getting involved in research underneath professors at like labs and stuff. Like, am I getting behind in life? But like, truthfully, no. Like I want to have a little bit of balance. It's just about finding what that right balance is, and maybe like if I could be like a little bit more relatable to maybe people who aren't like academic weapons, you know, which I don't even think is a good thing like anymore. Like I don't think it's a bad thing, but like I don't think it deserves maybe the praise it does. There's a reason you used to make fun of tryhards in Call of Duty and Fortnite, people who would like get shot at once and build ginormous towers, or like griefers in GTA who will destroy all your business product. And when you try and kill them back, they kill themselves. So it says like 1-0 and like the scorecard. Like, there's a reason people get made fun of for that stuff, like trying way too hard for stuff that is frankly not that deep. Grades are deep and everything, but are they so deep that your whole life needs to be dedicated to perfecting your grades, to sucking up to the professor? I mean, there's this one girl in the class, definitely wants to build relationships with like professors and the TAs, so like she could maybe get positions, or maybe just because I don't know. But like I read that, like, like I spoke to this one person. I started to read this book called Excellent Sheep, like a bunch of people who like do really well in school, but they can't really think on their own. They're just really good at regurgitating what the professor or the teacher wants on the test. And if they get a bad grade, they're really good at sucking up and being a teacher's pet so that they can get the good grade and look good on that transcript. But they can't really like think for themselves. And I'm encountering so many people, even at such a school like this, people who are just like not particularly intelligent, but kind of like know how to game the system almost. And this girl, like, she's smart, but like scared of her own shadow, sucking up to people just trying to give them what the answers they want, trying to find out exactly the answers the professors and TAs are going to want on the P set so she can get a perfect score. And I kid you not, like in lab, bro, like she'll like apologize and say sorry for burdening the TA with doing their job by asking her a question, speaking in a soft voice and everything. I'm really sorry. I have a question. Is that okay that I ask? Like, bro, have a little bit of self-respect, and also like it's not that deep, have a little bit of balance. But this is who I was, for so long, and like I still feel challenged. Like I know I need to step up my game going into sophomore year. I wasn't even participating in any extracurriculars besides going to the gym, drinking, and counting my calories, except for when I was drinking. And so now I need to step up my game. And and like also there's like a balance too. Like, for example, in my chem class, like I basically studied most of the stuff you were already doing in that chemistry class. So like I was pretty easily able to get an A, except for the fact that I would have gotten an A if I got the points dropped. Like there's like 400 points on the test, and I'm supposed to like get 100 points dropped if you submit 2 midterm reviews, and I did submit them, but I never got my points. The points that I missed dropped. And I ended up with an A minus, and I could have gotten a simple A if I just emailed. And it's not that deep getting an A. Like it's a good thing. Like I ended up not emailing, and I have my A minus on that transcript instead of an A. And it's good that like I'm relaxed enough about my grades that like I'm not freaking out getting an A minus or a B, or even a B minus, which I got. Maybe I'll even get a C ahead of. But like it's good I'm not so freaked out about an A minus versus an A that like I'll be like some of these kids in my biology class, sucking up to the professors and the TAs, going to every single office hour, spending 15 hours a week and having no free time to just enjoy myself. But you do also need to put in some effort, like it's very minimal effort to just send an email and get an A instead of an A minus. And so like I'm still trying to figure out that balance. But there's so much more than just like the people that you're meeting that is challenging who you are. You know, like I feel like, just like honestly, like the pressures of society, especially like, I mean, like everyone's talked about this. Like it's like the age old discussion. But you know, I used to be like a pretty open personality that talked to a lot of people, but I spent my whole first year just like not smiling at people, just always having a mean look, always being like annoyed at people. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like this nonchalant gimmick, trying to like, not talk to anybody, static, like all this drama. But like I end up like having very few friends, and like that's another thing. Like all the friends I have, like so many relationships I'm building now just feel so fake. Like I know if you read Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle talks about how there's friendships that are for like usefulness, friendships that are for pleasure, but like these friendships don't tend to last. Like it's just people to hang out with, and like I'll have like, and this goes back to kind of like the academic weapons that you have at this school, like the idea my roommate and some of the other friends in my dorm house had of like an ideal Saturday night when you're still young and in college and you don't have too many responsibilities. You're not paying the bills. You're not paying the bills. You don't have a kids to take care of and a wife to please. I want to be spending my Friday and Saturday nights going out and trying to bring a blonde baddie back into my bed, and enjoy life a little bit. And I ask them what they're doing. They're like, oh, we're just all studying in our dorm room. It's a Saturday night, bro. And like I go and I'm trying to hang out with my friends, and they'll have like OKC Thunder versus Spurs on in the background. Um, but like one of them's like reading through his biology textbook, the other one's doing like practice economic like econ equations or what like econ practice questions. Like it's a Saturday night, bro. I'm like, it's just, like I'm struggling. Like the people who I am friends with, like I don't really actually have all that much in common with. And other than that, like I'm not friends with like too many other people outside of them, because like I haven't been able to open up and be myself, just because like kind of like on this nonchalant gimmick, like everyone's supposed to be, I don't know, serious, like with the internet, like as like such a like easy accessible way to just like interact with people, because like people don't value in-person interactions as much anymore. They just want to be mysterious. And this is something maybe I could be a little bit more articulate on. Like I'd have to do like a separate video for it, but I'm finding it so hard to like have like connections with people, and that's what like I really want. And like I feel like that's like another thing that's really challenged who I am and who I want to be. Like I have like no one to talk to. That's why I'm doing this YouTube video. I have a therapist, but it's hard to open up to them. um I was gonna make this video about like, you know like I was gonna make a video about like, doing like a tier list, or reacting to my World Cup predictions 8 years too late. But I've just been thinking about this, and like this is like another major thing, not just encountering new people at college who remind me of so many of the qualities I hate about myself. Being nonchalant, not wanting to talk to you, like you know like I talk about like all these like academic weapons who care way too much, absolute chuds. And then there's the people who feel so pushed away by that, like the frat guys at this school. But they're so pushed away by that they just think they're cooler than everybody else. And you try and have some like conversations with them, and they'll just look at you like you're like a fucking dumbass, like some fucking crazy chud from off the street, like high on fucking cocaine or something. That's how they'll look at you, and that's how they'll treat you. Like I remember being like in a frat party, I try and fist bump like the guy handing out drinks, and he just like he does it so awkwardly, but he looks at me like, look at this fucking kid. This is so cringe. Oh my god, you know. And there's other situations like I need to try and think, but like that type of shit just happens. Like so often, like, you'll sit next to like some guys and they'll just like not even talk to you, bro. Like, you'll try and talk to them and they'll look at you and they'll like say like a couple words, but like try and ignore you as much as possible. You can't even like start a conversation, bro. They're just like everybody's. Or yeah, there was this one instant like my intramural game got canceled, so we went to the field anyway to play because I wanted to play some soccer. And this like Asian tried to take over the field, and we're like, "Hey, can we join you guys?" And like they don't even talk. Like I asked the goalie, "Hey, can we join in with this game?" They don't even look at us. They pretend we're not there, and they tell their goalie, "Ignore them. Just tell them to fuck off." Not even acknowledging my existence. They think they're way too cool to just talk to the random person that's not already inside their frat and their clique or whatever. you know and like finally they let us join, and I try and have some interaction with them. Like I get put in goal and I save a shot and I try and celebrate. No one celebrates with me, bro. Like I save a shot, I'm like, let's go, and they all just look at me like I'm fucking crazy, or I'm cringe. Like I'm trying to like interact with people. Like maybe I'm the Squidward in that one gif, like where he's just like absolutely crazy, and the mother's like leading her children away. You can see how brain rotted I am. But I don't feel like this is crazy. Like this wouldn't have been crazy back in the day. But so much interaction happens online, and if it doesn't, like people are so scared to talk to new people and to like make new connections, including me. Like I'm not saying like I'm so scared partly because like I'm worried people are gonna have this reaction to me. I don't want to be coming off cringe or annoying or creepy, so I just won't talk to girls or guys or whoever. I'm not attracted to guys, by the way. I just won't talk to them because like I'm self conscious about how they'll think about me. Um, but like I just wish it wasn't that way. Like it's like pushing me into this box of like who I'm not. Like this kid who sits in the back of the class, who's nonchalant, who seems like he hates everybody, and has like a nihilistic view, and I kind of turned into that, but like that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. But like I feel like I've been challenged and like pushed into that. Like all these experiences of like you know made me feel like this is how I have to be just to fit in. But you know I don't just want to fit in. I want to meet people and make friends. But I found it so hard, and my computer's trying to turn off. You know, and beyond that, beyond it being really hard to make friends or to find girls like that, like I'm actually genuinely interested in. Um, I also feel like some of the friendships I have had are like, old friendships I've grown apart from, new friendships, as I've said, I've struggled to grow into. It's just like, college is a crazy experience. Like, it challenges who you are. You like, and I'll say like, so many like hometown friends, like I just straight up stopped talking to just because, you know, your paths kind of separate. And I don't want to get too much into the details, but I've also, because this is really like maybe not something everyone can say they've experienced, but I've experienced like these friendships that I put so much into, and I think like I really care about these people like as my friends. Like I love hanging out with them. I want to hang out with them every day this summer, and I come back and like they just like don't see it the same way. Um, you know, like kind of like, I mean, I kind of feel like you know they've been fake, but you know having fake friends is like a separate topic. But regardless, like I'm in this like situation where I come back this summer, with not too many people, not too much to do, and I'm just like, sometimes just lonely. Other times, like I feel like a little bit at peace and in solitude, but I'm like really like in my own head a lot. I'm struggling to get out. It's not like I can go to bars or clubs or whatever because I'm not of age yet. I went out a little bit for the World Cup because it was, near where I live, but you know, fuck me, fuck me. Cut that out. Cut that out of the video. But yeah, it's just like such a struggle to meet people, you know, you're like forced to fit in, like, and obviously like you're trying to figure out like what you want in life. Like I want to have like that's like the age of like what do you want in life? What is the meaning of life? Like in the end, like I don't even know. But, like I know I want stability. Like I want a family and a decent bit of money. But like I don't really like feel the need to be famous and to change the world. I just want to like have a little bit of happiness. But I just don't know what that is. Like, do I need to make a lot of money or can I just live normally with like a stable, well-paying job that I enjoy decent enough that like I don't feel like killing myself on a Sunday night. If you understand what I'm saying, and yeah, like it's just so difficult. But I guess like you know, going back to that other point, like I know, like as I said, like on top of just encountering people that like have qualities I don't like, constantly like feeling like I'm in between two worlds of like where does my balance lay? Like with these frat kids who don't give a shit about their grades, or with people who do. Like it's it's so hard to find that balance. But I'm young and I want to be able to enjoy my life. But it's just about finding the right balance between you know not just working hard and playing hard. You also got to have some time to like rejuvenate your energy. Like sometimes I do just need to sit on a Saturday night or a Friday night and just watch slop in bed while eating fucking candy or something disgusting. Like you know, sometimes it is about just relaxing and doing jack shit. And I still want to be able to keep up with like the stuff like that I like doing gym, like going to the gym and you know whatnot. And I haven't even done extracurriculars. Like I'm eventually planning on joining a lab or rushing a frat. And like these are their own things that have like a lot of commitments. So it's like finding the right balance. But ultimately, like if I end up spending a lot of like a decent bit of money in college on stupid shit, if I end up not getting the best grades, I don't want college to be the best years of my life. But I don't want them to be my peak. But I want to look back on them with fondness and be like, well, at least I got to be young and enjoy myself, and didn't waste those years, in the library all the time, constantly. But nor did I spend my entire time partying. I also did, help guide myself and set myself up for a successful future. Like I am tired of like this like red pill or whatever it is, or black pill or stuff where it's like, yeah, I have to work hard 24/7 and set yourself up for success in the future, and give a fuck about short-term pleasures. But you also want to be happy. Like I don't need to be rich in the future. I don't care if like I'm behind in life and some other people make $1 million a year in the future and I'm only making 100K, 120K a year. Like you know I'm not on, like in the end, like I don't want to compare myself to other people. Comparing yourself to other people is chud activity that just makes you mad and angry all the time. Like you should be focusing on yourself. Who cares if other people are doing better than you? Like I'm trying to convince myself because it's so hard not to not just feel jealous of other people, but also to like judge other people who aren't doing what you think they should be doing. It's so easy. But ultimately focusing on yourself and not on other people will bring you much more comfort. Everybody's on a different path in life and have different priorities and different things that work for them. So, you know, you gotta find your own way. And it's challenging when you're with all these other people who are such high succeeders, like so like high achievers, like you feel like you need to be catching up with them and keeping up, but you truthfully like, or like seeing them on social media, you truthfully don't need to keep up. It's about what makes you happy, you know, finding the right balance and enjoying your years while you're still young. I can't seem to find that balance. But I guess it is what it is. More videos to come because I feel like this is like kind of an all over the place video, pretty diluted by subject. And ultimately, I maybe didn't elaborate or articulate myself well enough. But it's getting to the 30-minute mark, so gotta end it here. maybe less serious videos, maybe just as serious videos to come in the future. But yeah, this is a great chat. Enjoying my 0 calorie beverage.